Holy smokes. Check this out, guys. If you guys have not seen the news, Intel, ticker symbol INTC, is up. Can we say it? 30%? I mean, 29.26, but pretty much 30%. 30% on the day based off of the announcement of a $5 billion investment from the one and only Nvidia. For those that did not see, Nvidia also initially reacted. Yep, it was a positive catalyst, 3.2%, and that's following the news yesterday that Nvidia is possibly getting blocked by China, and it's being used as a pawn between the trade war between China and the US. That's a whole different story. We all know that Nvidia is, again, one of the most valuable companies, if not the most. I kind of forget because it's always battling with like Microsoft, I think, but actually I think it's way ahead right now. Nvidia is the most valuable company that's publicly traded, and it just announced a $5 billion partnership with Intel. And let me tell you this, Intel is desperate and is in need of a savings. And I wanted to share with you guys kind of like why this could be very exciting. But I want to share the really good news, what everyone is really excited about, and then I want to share some of its fundamentals of what I think you should be aware of. Again, my goal here is for you to learn something new. I'm trying to learn more about this partnership as well. And if you learn something that you think I should consider, feel free to share it down in the comment section. I'm always open to learning more. If you feel like you benefited from this video and you learned something new, I hope that I can consider, you can consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel if you feel like we earned it. So INTC up 29, pretty much 30%. I asked Warren AI very quickly, hey, why did Nvidia invest $5 billion into Intel? So Nvidia just announced a bold $5 billion investment into Intel at 23.28 per share, a move aimed to turbocharging joint development of AI infrastructure and the next gen of personal computing products. This isn't just financial, it's a strategic alliance that could redraw the semiconductor playbook. Now, it talks about two giants and one ambition, that they can co-develop custom data centers and PC products targeting hyperscale, enterprise, and consumer markets. Intel is set to build custom x86 CPUs. This is all just gibberish to me because I don't fully understand GPUs, but I want to understand the synergy of this partnership. And this is what I love about this. Here is where it gets fascinating. The partnership will connect NVIDIA and Intel's architectures using NVIDIA's NVLink technology. That means high performance AI computing from NVIDIA, and then tightly integrated with Intel's CPU muscle, potentially giving both companies a leg up in its fiercely competitive AI and personal computing arm race. The way that I see this is that NVIDIA doesn't need Intel. Intel, let's be honest, would benefit from anything right now, yet alone the most valuable company and the market leader in CPUs, right? And these semiconductors. This is a Hail Mary for Intel. Like, this is best case scenario to be able to be partnered up with the juggernaut of semiconductors. Let's be honest, right? Like, we have to emphasize what it is. This is like a Hail Mary that was caught. Tom Brady threw it. I don't even really know football. It was caught, touchdown, cool. Why is this such a big deal? Well, what I've understood is this is a strategic move. NVIDIA's AI leads and Intel's manufacturing muscle. NVIDIA dominates in AI chips, but relies heavily, this is the part that I found to be very useful, it relies heavily on third-party fabrication. Intel, meanwhile, needs to prove its foundry ambitions and regain relevance. No question about that. This investment cements a mutually beneficial relationship. In my opinion, definitely more beneficial for Intel than it is to NVIDIA. I think this is just a way to almost more in-house everything it is that NVIDIA is doing, and they're able to do it with a reputable name, right? And I think it's honestly kind of like noble of NVIDIA being okay with bringing up one of its competitors. I think it just shows like how willing NVIDIA is to run a well-ran business. I've said this before. I think Jensen is, I don't want to call him a genius, but he's very good at running NVIDIA. he focuses just on that one thing. It seems to be his hyper focus, and he doesn't mind these just like the way that he talks about a strategic partnership, making things work with China. And although there's a lot of backlash and, a lot of challenges working with the US and Trump and working with China, it seems like he's not very greedy in the sense of he just wants to continue to grow, and he's willing to do anything and everything an effort to do so. And I think this is why I personally really like Nvidia. You guys know that I love talking crap about stocks that I believe are overvalued. And don't get me wrong. I mean, the AI space can be a little overvalued or overhyped up. There's an excessive amount of investment into AI right now, but it all kind of supports the case. If you look at Nvidia's PE ratio, it's not trading that far off of its actual earnings. So very impressive, right? Market expansion. By joining forces, both target new verticals: enterprise AI infrastructures, hyperscale data centers, and high-performance consumer PCs. Financial leverage. Nvidia is investing $5 billion in buy-in pending regulatory approval. This is going to be a concern. Giving it a major stake in Intel's turnaround story. Again, a big thing. This is why I talked about a Hail Mary. I don't know much about football, but I know that it's like, holy smokes, we're about to now not be able to make it. And I'm going to share with you the data on why I'm saying that. While Intel gains a marquee customer and validation for its foundry push. So for the record, deal specifics and regulatory hurdles. The investment is subject to customary closing conditions, includes regulatory approval. This has been a huge hurdle for very large companies like Nvidia and like Google. Warren AI's takeaway. This isn't a simple investment. It's a calculated move to fuse Nvidia's AI dominance with Intel's CPU and manufacturing assets. I think that was very well said. The potential, a new era of AI-powered, tightly integrated computing platforms. The risk, regulatory scrutiny, and the challenge of aligning two tech giant cultures and roadmaps. In my opinion, yes, I would say if both were extremely dominant in the space, but you have Nvidia that's way up here, just my opinion, and then you have Intel that's way down here. Why do I think that Intel is way down there? Let's look into their financials, right? There's 32% downside based off of the fair value price for Intel based off of the current price right now. It has a negative 5.6 PE ratio. This is a company that loses. It's so unfortunate. $21 billion. And this is why I like showing you the data. I know it's going to sound like a Debbie Downer. Ricky, why do you always have to do this? Let this thing push up to 30%. Dude, I'm not shorting it. But you guys know that I like to dig a little bit deeper. I like to challenge you. I like to challenge myself. Right now, I don't really think fundamentals matter in this market as much. And I don't think fundamentals matter right now with Intel because it's going off of news, right? It's all momentum based. It's all hype based. In my opinion, it is an overreaction on the way up because Intel is going to have a lot to prove. $21 billion is what it has in net income loss. And then when you look at their actual pro research, so if we look into the company and its revenue, Ricky, why do you always have to do this? You always ruin it for us. Why can't you just show that Intel has potential to recover? It does. It could be a turnaround story, just like they said, right? Who better to be partnered up with than Nvidia in the semiconductor space? You're going to be in charge of like the manufacturing that's been your bread and butter from the start. Cool. It's a very strategic partnership, and I really hope it is the turnaround story for Intel. I'm just making you aware that as the stock pushes 30%, look into the fundamentals, right? If you care enough. If it's all a momentum-based trade for you, obviously fundamentals don't matter in that sense. I just like showing you the data. Look at the revenue. This is not a growing company. There's a reason it's been trading so terribly, right? If you look into their actual breakdown of their financials, again, how much the company makes, its overall revenue, its gross profit, cost of goods, research and development, everything, all the way down to losing $20 billion. When it comes down to per quarter, it lost about $2.9 billion, and it shows the overall flow chart again, I like showing you guys the numbers. I like showing you guys the data so you can do a deeper dive. I understand through and through that there's a big difference between an investment and a trade. And some of you guys might be just treating Intel as a trade because it's really good news with a really strategic partner. And I think that's super exciting. I hope that this is a turnaround story for Intel. But I think it would be a disservice to just talk about all of the good that could happen, but not highlight, what has been happening for Intel and why it has been performing so terribly, from $62 per share all the way down to $20 per share right before this announcement. So you guys let me know down in the comment section, do you think that this is an overreaction, or do you think that this will be the start of a turnaround story? In my opinion, I think it's an overreaction in the short term. Markets love to overreact. Intel will eventually correct, and I really hope that in the quarters that follow, with its partnership, if there is no regulatory scrutiny, that it can actually turn things around for Intel. I would love to see Intel thrive with Nvidia. I think Nvidia is one of the most amazing companies that I've had the opportunity to not only be invested in, but also just to watch in how it's being ran. It's such a well-ran business in a accelerated, space. And Jensen continues to lead in a way that I think is very impressive, right? Especially when there's just a lot of fluff going on with a bunch of different companies and overvaluations and talking about what they're doing, but they don't actually do it. Tesla being one of them. Nvidia does an amazing job, I would say, leading by example. So I think any partnership with Nvidia is a partnership worth looking into. So again, I can see why Intel would be a stock worth adding to your watch list. I do not think as Intel pushes 30% in one day, it would be a stock worth investing in. I think it's an overreaction. Eventually it will correct. And hopefully in the quarters that follow with a good partnership, it could fundamentally begin to show that it is turning things around with that strategic partnership with Nvidia. But again, no one knows, right? So just wanted to share my thoughts with you guys, and you guys let me know down in the comment section what you think. So I appreciate your time. Again, I hope that if you learned something new, I earned your thumbs up, and maybe you can consider subscribing. I do trade live every single morning right at market open, and I break things down like this every single day. So again, if you ever want to tune on into my live trading sessions, I talk about the good, I talk about the bad when it comes down to these overall stocks. And if you're looking to be able to start your mornings off every single day with a team, then again, consider our LPP team. So second link in the description down below will give you a huge discount to join our LPP team and our daily live trading session. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.